And we are in game number 1. Welcome everyone! The Viper playing in the red towards the southwest of the map. Meanwhile, Vivi is playing in the blue color towards the northeast. These games once again took place earlier today at 12 GMT or noon GMT. That was too early for me, but because we can just cast and record the games, we can do 2 series back to back as opposed to having that one first and then have it shut down the stream anyway for a few hours and then turn it up again for freaking Andy set. So anyway, what do we get for game number 1? This is double homeland. So the players are divided by quite a bit. There is a single passage over here between both halves of the map. And if the players have done their homework, if the players have read the map description, if the players have taken a look at the map screenshot, they should know about this. And we should see players go over the center to try and get some walls up at some point. The map seems to have a pretty even relic generation for the most part. And let me check to make sure that's actually the case. Oh, you know what? That doesn't seem to be the case at all. That doesn't seem to be the case at all. We have one relic over here favoring Vivi on the back of his base. We have one relic dead center. And then there is 1, 2, 3, 4 relics on the back of Viper's base. So this is something that they definitely could try and strive to improve, I think. And I'm just going to take a screenshot of this and share it in the server so they can take a look at it and see if they are able to fix it. Anyway, all right. Imagine somebody had Lithuanians over here. This would be pretty poor. Or pretty good, depending on who would get the Lithuanians, right? If the Viper had Lithuanians, he would already have 4 relics basically secured. Anywho, taking a look at the civilization, starting with the right-hand side player first, Vivi, who's playing in the blue color. We're gonna have for Byzantine Stain 20, 30, and 40% extra HP on buildings in the Dark Feudal Castle and Imperial Ages. In addition to that, they get a 25% discount on Skirm, Spear, and Camel Rider units, as well as a 33% discount to go up to the Imperial Age. Free Town Watch, Free Town Patrol, 25% faster attack and fire line ships, although that's not going to be relevant over here. But for the team bonus, their monks do heal units 50% faster compared to other civilizations. Actually, was it 50% faster or was it 100% faster? Now I gotta take a look at it. It is 100% faster, not 50% faster, my bad. For the Viper civilization playing with Bohemians, we'll see instead for the red player 25% higher attack on... higher bonus damage rather, on spear line units. In addition to that, we also see for Bohemians access to chemistry and a hand cannoneer in the Castle Age. There's also for Bohemians 100 wood discount on blacksmiths and universities. And in addition to that, they get villagers affected by fervor and sanctity. Alright. As well as free mining camp upgrades. Now for the team bonus, Bohemians also get 80% faster working markets as well, which in a 1v1 is not really going to matter too much. It's usually going to be utilized for something like training the trade cards faster, right? Anyway, the walls are coming up already for the Viper, and he's going for a very favorable wall out over here that's going to allow him to collect 5 relics in the end. Meanwhile, Vivi's going to have only 1 relic left to play with. Before I forget it though, let me let's update. Oh, let's actually pay off the predictions, rather. Yeah, and take a look at this. Vivi's gonna try and go for a greedy wall out over there, and the Viper's got only 1 villager over here. Vivi's got the scouts, the Viper's got the scouts over there. Vivi's bringing a second villager into the mix, so if he plays his cards right, he should be able to get a better engagement over here. He's got the most units, especially with the third villager coming over here. It's gonna be like kind of a Black Forest start for Vivi. Even if we are 8 minutes into the game already, the villagers coming over to the center might make the difference that he needs. And the Viper cannot get the walls up! And here comes Vivi! With all his villagers, all his magic is gonna try and go for the walls that favor him the most. Although he has still kind of gone for the walls over here on the back anyway. He's gotta be careful. But yeah, let's play the predictions off for the previous one. There we go.
Jsem připravena. Co žádáš?
There we are. Feel it's gonna be here for both these guys. About the same time, Vivi's got just a 9-second head start over the Viper, who's been struggling to keep the TCs working, to be fair. Yes, take a look at that. Over 2 minutes. A vital TC time for the Viper so far. Now an archer range is coming out for Vivi. The Viper goes for a market, blacksmith. It's gonna go up to the castle right away. Well, Vivi's got yeah, the archer range over here. Viper's the best player to watch? Is that so? Much better than Viper? Yes, I would agree. I would say the Viper is usually a stronger player and a much better player to watch compared to the Viper. Big difference. Isn't the Viper like 1,000 elo lower? Viper doesn't exist? What are they talking about? Yeah. Look for the Viper. You'll find them. There's legit a player called the Viper. Viper in red, not yellow? The disrespect? Nah, just contrast. If we have him in the yellow right now and then we have a desert map for game number 2 or 3, then we have to switch players. It's going to be inconsistent. I'm doing alright, Private Snowball. I hope you're doing alright yourself as well. I'm very much looking to so many things in the future. It's great. Makes sense. I really dislike the green color, Green Arabia. Yeah, or blue on water maps as well. Actually, not blue, teal on water maps is just so tough. Alright, Castle is gonna be here earlier for the Viper, but still ends up taking just so much extra idle TC time compared to Vivi. So much so that Vivi's managed to get a 5 villager lead over Viper. There we are. Left hand side, second 30C is on the way for the Viper. And Vivi? Vivi's been collecting quite a bit of stone. He doesn't have enough to go for a castle just yet. He doesn't have the wood to go for extra TCs. So it seems as if he's just gonna try to play full aggression over here and go for full castle. You do not really want to play late game against Bohemians. You know that they are just so strong. So Vivi seems to be thinking of going for full aggression over here, and it's not just going to be the castle. He's going for a monastery over here, so that will allow him to collect both the relics, this one and the one that he's got on the back. Still, the Viper, as we established earlier, we pointed out, he's got 4 relics already on his side of the map. Viper is also how Mem sometimes says Viper. I would imagine that's probably what Snowball was referring to, but there is actually a Viper player in the For anybody who might not be aware, I think most of you most likely are aware, but for anybody who might not be aware, Hispanic people, including myself, do not have the V sound in their language. It doesn't exist in Spanish. So that's why you see and you hear Hispanic people, and myself included, sometimes make the B sound for V characters. You're just not used to it. It doesn't exist, so you have to learn how to make it and try to remember to. I think I've done a good job of adapting to that for the most part. But sometimes I realize after screwing up that I just screwed up. But it doesn't happen very often, thankfully. Not that it makes a big difference though, you can still understand, right? Somebody says big. Yeah, those are different things, but you would still understand it by context. There's actually a Viper player? Yeah, there is a Viper player, but it is like much lower level, of course. It's not somebody that you would probably see on streams too much. Nice reaction from the Viper. William the Villager, now Vivi. Vivi's roaming around. Like him save plus Black Forest with extra TC starts Spear Evil. Yeah, it's kind of like Black Forest, right? So that is why Vivi's just trying to go for full aggression over here. Interestingly enough, he's been unable to get too much stun just yet, but he is the first player to go up to the Imperial Age. And he was able to keep up with work account for the most part. The Viper still so much extra LTC time. Vivi only behind by 5 workers, but will be in the Imperial Age a full minute and a half earlier. He's got 3 TCs as well. Where are you from, Fine Ball, by the way? As well, I'm pretty curious. Usually about the viewers. I would imagine somewhere where you can tell the difference between both sounds. Nice defense for the Viper. Stonewalls over here will make it harder for Vivi to keep on pushing. Now Vivi could potentially still play this as Black Forest by going for a non-Jer and eventually trying to cut. But at this point in time, he's just gotten to the Imperial Age and we see trebuchets coming now. Now he can use trebuchets also to cut through the trees and just come in. Oh, check this out! Double blacksmith coming up for the Viper over here, just for the quick walls. He's forced into it. Yes. And Vivi's gonna start putting pressure already. He doesn't need to cut through the trees. He's already gotten past the palisade, so now he's going right after the PC. Well done. Live? Not live. Record the games. No. This took place at 12 GMT. Or noon GMT. 12 PM GMT. Viper's getting ballistics, skirmishers, and Vivi's got crossbows with chemistry on the way. He's got Padded Arch Arms with +1/+1 on the way right now. That TC is going down. 1 out of 5. The Viper's still gonna be left on 4. And Vivi's pressure is looking good for the time being, but Viper will start playing for defense now. He's got bombard cannons coming out, and because he doesn't have a castle right now, he actually cannot really go for what am I talking about? What castle? Yeah, Wiggenburg Tactics, I guess. But he should be able to go for Hubnitsa, right? It's just that he doesn't really have the economy for it right now, and Vivi's pressure over here is ramping up. We'll love to see Vivi go for his own bombard cannons as well. It's not going to be quite as good, however, because the Viper is in a pretty good spot when it comes to dodgeball because of having access to siege engineers, while the Byzantines don't. Czech Republic, we also have a couple sounds in our language that are hard to pronounce. I would think so. Isn't Odette from the Czech Republic? She is, right? I remember sometimes when she would speak her language. I would be just so puzzled as to what those sounds were. She is. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Yeah, no bombard cannons coming up for Vivi whatsoever instead. Just have Cataphract skirmishers as well. 25% cheaper skirmishers for Vivi. Should work out pretty well over here, of course. Just gotta be careful. Bombard cannons and potentially Huvnita, they're just so good against skirms. Take a look at that. You just gotta pay attention over there. And he's scattering the units now. That's good. Try and prevent taking too much damage. He's bringing the arbalests forward as well. And that's a good shot, but good reaction from Vivi as well. And bow! That's what I'm talking about. The bombard cannons, they're just so strong. You gotta pay attention to your units at all times. Over here, I think he ended up losing 4 to 5 units to the Viper's bombard cannons, and just a few more shots like those, we will be completely left out of units, so it's gotta be extremely careful over here. At this point in time, the Viper's population is looking stronger compared to Vivi, but he is the one on the back foot. Conscription's on the way now for Vivi as well. That's good. The Viper, of course, without a castle doesn't really get access to it. So now Vivi is producing units faster and still for cheaper. So it should be good. So long as he's got access to food and wood, the skirmishers, it doesn't really matter if he loses a few skirmishers to the bombard cannons. I mean, if he can get some of these units down with skirmishers, that's going to be so cost effective for Vivi. But it doesn't seem like he's going for it. Yeah, the Viper's going for hand cannoneer. And Vivi, there we go. Vivi's losing the castle. He's gone for another one in the back. He's got another castle on the way as well. That's going to be 2 castles for him left still. Meanwhile, the Viper's going for his first castle to finally get conscription in. Wagenburg tactics. Why is the Viper producing hand cannoneer? That is a great question. There is nothing that makes these units particularly stronger for the Viper except for Wagenburg tactics, which makes them move 15% faster. But when he's moving this alongside the skirmishers, it's going to be the same speed for his entire army. So I think he was probably expecting Vivi to start going for some halberdier as well. After all, the Byzantines do get a discount on skirm and spearline units. Sorry. And that'll be a fantastic meat shield against the skirmishers from the Viper, but the Vivi doesn't really go for any of that. So the Viper shouldn't really commit to it. But we need to sound the way now for the Viper. It's got architecture coming into. Nice to see BB playing. Yes. There is somebody, just like we have a Viper, there is actually a BB player, I believe. Isn't there? Somebody would have to look for it. I wonder what the Viper and BB think about that. There we go, Wagenburg tactics coming in now for the Viper. He's got the heavy Scorpion on the way. Interesting. It's not really something you see every day, but against Vivi civilization, it does make sense, right? He'll be going for counter units. He'll be going for either skirm, spear, or camel units. Against which Scorpions will actually do pretty well. And Vivi can't really go for too much over here. I guess he could try and make a play for Onager, and with a good amount of units, he might be able to actually counter what Viper's got to play with over here. But it seems like it's so little too late already. As the Viper's already getting to 11 Huvnita. Vivi is only now going for elite Cataphract. He's just gonna try and make a play for the Catas over here. He needs to get Logistica. If he's gonna take an engagement over here with Cataphracts, he needs to take to get Logistica. It's just so important. He's going forward though. Oh my lord, Vivi stops over there. Stops short. Don't do this to me, man. I'm going to have a heart attack. He doesn't have Logistica yet, does he? He doesn't. He doesn't have Logistica. This is not good. He's coming forward. That's a lot of units from the Viper. for Vivi to fight against, and the Viper, especially, he needs to keep on scattering the units over here. He cannot keep everything kind of squeezed together, otherwise the Hubnits are just going to be so good. And here come the Cataphracts, but they are going to go down, or are they? They're actually doing a lot of damage over here on the back. The Scorpions over there are going down right away. That's a few hundred resources down the drain already for the Viper. Meanwhile, they're trying to get to the Hubnita, but they aren't able to do anything, and the Viper ends up pushing Vivi away. My lord still retains 9 Hubnita over here. Good amount of Scorpions, since he's going for more. Oh, man. Hey, B. I'm doing alright. Thanks so much for asking. I hope you're doing alright as well. I hope you're doing okay. This game's been out for so long. We have a player for all days. Fair point. There we are. Castle's on the way for the second castle over here. So he's lost one. He's kind of replenishing it. But this is, once again, man, he's gotten Logistica now, finally, yes! But he doesn't have the numbers anymore. He needed it when he actually had a good amount of Cataphracts to play with. Now he's got Logistica, but nothing to take advantage of it with. And the Viper's starting to go from bar towers. It seems like the beginning of the end for Vivi. As the Viper keeps on pushing harder and harder, now we'll see a castle crumble over here, leaving Vivi on a single castle. And if he was ever hoping to actually make the Cataphract play work, he cannot really afford to take these losses. I feel like the Viper is going for a wacky army composition on purpose. The hand carry, I think it was anticipation of Halberdier, and the Scorpion actually does make sense. Scorpion, that does make sense against everything that Vivi can go for that isn't Cataphracts. But as long as the Viper keeps Vivi's castle count low, then Vivi won't ever be able to mass enough Cataphracts to actually take care of this. If we have enough, Vivi would definitely clean this up. If we had 25, 30 Cataphracts, for instance, the Viper will get cleaned up over here. But now, his armor composition is actually quite good for what Vivi's got to work with, and the Viper seems to be Masterpiece in his way into the first victory of the series, while Vivi, he's been struggling, man. You don't want to go forward and get the HP of your units shredded. That actually engaging, so it's once again pretty rough for Vivi. Here we are. Another castle coming up for Vivi over here. That's going to be 3 castles for him. Let's take a look. He's trying to make the play for the Cataphracts once again. So we have 24. I was saying about 25 to 30 should be enough. And take a look at that. The Scorpions are melting. With Logistica, these Cataphracts get AoE damage. So they are taking all the Scorpions down, and that was not even close. Sure, the Cataphracts are getting cleaned up over here, but that was actually, I think that might have been a pretty cost-effective trade for Vivi, wasn't it? Because he's managed to get 3 castles up now. He's gonna keep on going for more Cataphracts, and if he gets good enough numbers, then he'll go forward and he'll take the Hubnitsa down. We don't have any defense over here for the Viper anymore. The Scorpions are not there. We have no Halberdier whatsoever. The Viper's got only Spearmen right now. And even if he had Halberdier, what would he really do against Cataphracts? Nothing. Cataphracts just chew infantry units. There we go. Hundreds upon hundreds of resources down the drain for the Viper. Yes! This is what I wanted to see from Vivi all along. Logistica Cataphracts, they are just so strong. And that is 100% cost effective for Vivi. That is absolutely incredible. And he needs to keep on going for more, you know? If he goes forward with 15 Cataphracts at a time or so, he should be able to prevent the Viper from getting too much damage down. Meanwhile, the Viper's going for more hand cannoneer over here. He's going to try and take advantage of the fact that the Cataphracts do not really get too much pierce armor. With these guys already at 17 attack, taking a look at Vivi with only 5 pierce armor on these units. Of course, it's going to take 12 damage a pop, and that's going to take about 13 hand cannoneer to one-shot the cataphracts, of course. But if Vivi gets enough numbers over here, should be able to overwhelm Viper's numbers anyway. If he can surround these units, for instance, Vivi still finds himself in a good spot. Ideally, the blue player is able to keep the castles up and keep on going for more. Right now, he's trying to keep this one up. He's going to go for the cataphracts now, once again. Try and keep the castle up a little bit longer as the Vipers push back with Nita over there. Man, the hand cannoneer are actually shredding over here. And the cataphracts are actually getting kind of cleaned up. Very, very strong units for the Viper. Not the most cost-effective trades, mind you. But Vivi gets pushed back, and the Viper's gonna keep on pressuring the castle. Yeah, and ideally Vivi not only wants to keep the castles up, but he wants to keep on going for more, especially if he's just going to continue going for full cataphract. A little bit of a struggle right now, though. He's producing only from 3 castles at a time, even though he's got 4. But has a nice bank. He does. He does for the time being. It's going to more than suffice. No halberdier from the Viper yet. No, but halberdier against cataphracts are not too good. We have elite fully upgraded cataphracts for Vivi, which just chew through spearline units. Any infantry units, to be honest. And here comes Vivi once again. Oh boy. I think I would have liked to see Vivi at some point go for block printing and redemption, so that whenever he pushes like this, he's actually able to go and target the Nita with some monks. But I guess it's pretty difficult because of the bombard towers. And once again, though, the Viper ends up losing so many units over here. Still has a good amount of Scorpions left, though, but he lost so many. There is no way that was cost effective for the Viper, was it? And Vivi, he needs to start taking care of these bombard towers. These are doing so much damage against the cataphracts as well. So he needs to get either his own bombard cannons out, and he tried to go for a few a little while ago, but he couldn't make it work. Or trebuchets. Trebuchet is going to be easier. The Onager work for Vivi. A good amount of Onagers should be able to take the Nita down, but the problem is Vivi's got a bunch of units out already, so Vivi needs to go for even more Onagers. Then he will need to take on just 1 or 2 Nita, or even 3. So long as the Viper's paying attention, he should be ahead as well. He will run out of castles before the Viper runs out of resources. That's what I'm afraid of. That is why it was so important for you to keep the castles up, and now he's got just 2 left. Can't really keep on going for too much. For too many extra units. And how much gold are the cataphracts? Don't remember exactly, let me take a look. Cataphracts are 75 gold. 70 food, 75 gold. So these are definitely not impossible to produce. He's just been struggling for production potential because he doesn't really have the infrastructure. Yeah, the bombard towers over here make it extremely difficult for Vivi to push the Viper out. Now, Viper is starting to walk into the open. This could be good for Vivi. If the Viper gets too far away from the bombard towers, then Vivi could swoop in and take all the units down. The Viper's gonna keep on committing to the Scorpions here. Close to the bombard towers. Careful. See Challenger's coming in. I like the meat shield from Vivi. I think it's good. I think if the Viper plays his cards right, he still take these down with the Hubnita though. Let's take a look. And here come the units. Once again, the cataphract plays not strong enough as Vivi calls the GG. We see a parade of blood on the right hand side. Vivi cannot even approach. He can't touch Viper's arm. It's untouchable for the red player. Look at the trail of death over here for Vivi. Basically Many of these units did not manage to attack at all in this last engagement for you whatsoever. Damn. Azar reforms and convert everything. Oh, that'd be neat for sure, but the Viper was committed to the Masterpiece over here. Bombard towers and scorpions, OP confirmed. Well, somebody should try that on the ladder and let me know. For the achievements, we'll get a better than 3 to 2k ratio for the Viper. Well, for economy, we have a stronger economy for the Viper, collecting so many extra resources. My lord! Absolutely ridiculous. Almost 30,000. Well, actually more like 26,000 extra resources. 26,209 extra resources for the Viper. For society, we see also a higher work count for Vivi, a higher villager max count over here towards the end of the game. He ended up losing about 26 villagers, while the Viper ended up losing about 21. So it's very close for both these guys. Not a big difference in that regard. Let's just go back and wait a little bit before jumping into game number 2. This is going to be the Viper 1, Vivi Neil. There we are. Here we are. Welcome you guys, welcome everyone then to game number 2 in the series. The Viper playing with Berbers and Vivi playing with Franks. We're going to switch colors once again to make this a little bit more contrasting. Is the Viper looking fine over here with yellow? It's alright, I guess. But we already have him in the red for game number 1, so we're just going to keep the colors consistent. Try to anyway. Before we get to cast too much about this one though, let me get myself some tea. Are you guys staying hydrated? Stay hydrated. Hydration reminder over here. Let me pour some tea. Let's see if you can hear it. Yes. Beautiful. Alright. It's already 30 degrees today, but you gotta burn outside and inside. If you live in Argentina, there is no way around it. Unless you live in the south. Anyway, for these civilizations, Vivi playing with Franks will get 15% faster working foragers. That is great. Besides that, we're gonna have for Vivi civilization 20% cheaper. 25% cheaper castles, 20% extra HP, a cavalry unit starting the field age onwards, as well as free farm upgrades, and for the team bonus, 2 extra line sight on night line units. Hey Jerland! What's up Nova? I give you a shout out on Hera stream while being coached today. Why are all the best AO2 streamers in Argentina? I know, right? Or why is Argentina so appealing for the Age of Empires streamers in any case? Now Hera couldn't resist Argentina's charms. Had to move over here. Does anybody know if he's staying? Is he moving actually to Argentina? Or is this like a vacation kind of thing? I know that he's with Roxy, so like realistically that's probably the reason why he's come here. And to be honest, the money that he's making off his stream is just going to give him so much more in Argentina compared to Canada for sure. Just so you guys know, I only live out of Twitch revenue, so subscriptions, you know, donations, bits, whatnot. That's what I make a living out of, and it's usually less than $200 per month. So if Hera can't come here with a Canadian economy, he's just going to be a king in this country. I'll tell you, it's just so good. I think Argentina has the most people per capita that play AoE. Interesting. I wouldn't know that. I would probably have expected that to be Germany, to be fair. It seems to be so popular over there too. Anyway, we talked about Vivi civilization. Let's talk about the Viper civilization as we wait for the players to go up. The Viper with Berbers will get 10% faster moving villagers and ships. We have for the civilization for the Viper 15 and 20% cheaper cavalry units, stable units in the castle and Imperial Ages, respectively, as well as for the team bonus, access to Jenny Termin. I love the shadow outline over there that the units get whenever they are going behind the waterfalls. It is just so pretty to look at. I'm really sure that's the case, if that's happening because of the waterfalls being kind of overlaid on top of each other over here, or if it's because that's just an effect. And it would be the case even with a single one. Hey, good attitude! Germany is second, I think. Rest are just miles away. Makes sense. Makes sense, Hidden One. Thank you for the information. Big villager fight brewing at the center of the map. We'll see a few extra villagers for Vivi. One extra villager for Vivi. Now we'll see if he's actually able to get a good engagement over here, though. One of the weak villagers from the Viper has to be pulled off, and that's going to be the case also for Vivi's weak villager over here. But the Viper's going after the weak villager, and now Vivi's going after the weak villager. We're going to see both players snipe. One villager each, and the quick walls do not connect for the Viper. He got very close, though. Now 1-to-1 Eco KD, 2-to-1 KD overall for the Viper, who was able to get one of the scouts from Vivi down. That's going to be about it. So a lot of action in the center. Somewhat small amount of casualties overall, though. Yeah, and Viper's struggling to keep the TC running. We saw this already in game number 1, though. Even when that game was not quite as hectic, the Viper was certainly racking up so much extra idle TC time. If you want to get more information about this one, you'd have to do !DC3. That's going to give you a link to the Wikipedia page. And a shout out to the hosts and organizers. Another villager goes down for the Viper and for Vivi. 2-to-2. Eco kills and deaths for both these guys. There we are. Yeah, and in the end, Viper's going to kind of bully Vivi's villagers out of the center. He's got much higher HP villagers over here to work with overall, and he's going to try to block the villager. Let's see if he can body block her. He tried but couldn't do it. So 10% faster moving villagers should have favored the Viper over there in the villager engagement, but in the end, Vivi ended up getting more kills. 4 kills, 3 deaths. He did end up getting pushed away from the center, mind you. Yes, and Vivi cannot go over there. Now the Viper is going to be the first player in the Fuel Age as well by quite a lot. As Vivi's kind is starting to rely over here on the farms. I just noticed, by the way, it doesn't seem like Vivi took advantage of the Jaguars whatsoever. Check this out. All the Jaguars are here still. Yes, and Vivi's got a villager lead. That's going to compensate for not getting access to the center, because over here the Viper of course is going to get access to a lot of extra food for free. Just gotta fish, just gotta collect the food. Meanwhile, Vivi has to pay for so many farms over here, so he better be on a higher work account for sure. He needs it to kind of compensate for the fact that Viper's got more readily available resources for cheaper. And then the red player doesn't seem like he took advantage of the Jaguars too much either. Nobody's done so this game by the looks of it. Interesting. Well, you understand it from Franks because they get the fast working foragers, but for the Viper, seems kind of awkward. As he gets to the Fuel Age, he's got almost enough resources to click out to the Castle Age already, while Vivi, on the other hand, is still about 1 minute and 30 seconds or so away from the Fuel Age himself, and doesn't seem like he's going to have anywhere near enough resources to click out to the Castle Age anytime soon, so the Viper is starting to pull a lead over here. Not so much for population, for sure, but certainly for technology. Yes, the tower coming up from the Viper shouldn't really come up at all. If it comes up, it shouldn't stay up in any case. Vivi's got the defender's advantage, so he's fine. He could potentially chop the Straddler tree over here and just tree hop. And the end tower is going down. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is it? This is so close, though. This is so close. Vivi ends up losing a villager over there, trying to get the tower down over here. Might end up actually losing more than one villager. That's another one. Oh my lord, this is How does the Viper keep this tower up? It's just beyond comprehension. Vivi got it so close to it going down, and the Viper did a really good job shuffling his villagers around, repairing the tower while still targeting the villagers from Vivi, and that was just so well played. The quick walls also help as well to prevent Vivi from bringing extra villagers over, which I think would... If Vivi had just chopped the tree over here, he would have been able to come in anyway, but it's just water under the bridge. Viper's not on stone. He's not, and Vivi did manage to rake in enough resources to click out to the castle edge himself as well, so there is that, at the very least. Oh, Gaia taking a villager from Vivi on the left-hand side. Rip. Well, player's still gonna try to make a play for the center. Wouldn't be able to do too much, especially because of the faster movement of Viper's units over here. So in the end, both these guys are going out to the castle edge. At the end of the day, the population is going to be a little higher for Vivi. We'll see a higher work account for the bull player, who's going out to the castle edge a little bit earlier. He's got at this point an 18-second lead compared to the Viper. Besides that, see for Vivi. Yeah, population space is kind of a struggle. He needs to go for houses. Okay, there we go. He went for one. And Viper's got wheelbarrow. Yeah, that's a good catch. Economy's even. Somewhat. Vivi's got also double pickaxe and horse collar. Of course, he's the one who needs horse collar. That wouldn't make a difference for the Viper, right? But double pickaxe is going to have an impact as well. And you know what? I'm actually not really sure they are even though, because the Viper is not really collecting from farms over here. It's collecting fish. So wheelbarrow is not quite as impactful. In the end though, Vivi ended up getting housed badly for quite a while over there, so the Viper manages to catch up in work account, and now certainly indisputable, the Viper should be ahead in terms of economy. From this point onwards, that is, of course. Up until this point, taking a look at gather economy time reveals half an hour of extra gather economy time for Vivi, which should translate to about 400 to 600 extra resources for the bull player. He's got some knights on the way. The Viper's got some knights on the way as well. He's got some camels on the way as well. Remember that the Viper gets a discount in the castle age already, 15% cheaper. And Vivi's been going for spearmen. He's got pikemen right now. The Viper's in control over here. It's pretty good overall. He's not taking anywhere near as much damage as I thought he was going to, but still some villagers going down for the Viper over there though. Vivi pulls a 6 worker lead against the Viper. Down the south, a little bit of a raid coming up from Vivi over here, and the Viper's not paying attention over here. He's not paying attention. So this one scout, as low HP as it is, has taken 2 villages down, and finally the Viper realizes about it. Meanwhile, at the center, we see a conversion for the Viper as well. But Vivi still looks stronger, though. And what did the Viper convert? He converted the pikeman! I think so, right? See a red pikeman over here. Yeah, because the Viper is still on spearman. He's not getting the pikeman upgrade. That is not a cost-effective conversion for the red player to speak of. So Vivi's definitely still in the game. It's gotta be careful, though, as the game gets hectier and hectier. The Viper will usually be able to keep track of this a little bit better compared to Vivi, as we already saw in game number 1. And you can take a look. Vivi over here is taking longer to realize about this compared to how long it took for the Viper to realize about the raid down the south. The Viper's gonna keep on sending the one knight over to the north to keep on putting pressure. Meanwhile, Vivi's not really going for much of anything in terms of military anymore. He was trying to contest the center, but after getting pushed away from here, he's just going to kind of sit back a little bit. Heavy pause here for Vivi, which helps quite a bit. He's gonna be the first player getting a castle up as well. He's got 9 stone miners, while the Viper, not so much. Wait, what? Vivi deletes the castle over here because of the one knight from the Viper? Just take it down with the TC and build a castle, man. Or is he trying to go for a castle forward, perhaps? I guess maybe a castle drop would be a little bit more effective for Vivi to try and kind of crawl his way back into the game, but no, he just goes for the castle in the same location. I don't understand why he would delete it in the first place. Well, at the very least, they need to use the market to get the castle up again. Just collecting stone. But it's certainly a puzzling move. Squires just finished researching for Vivi. Wheelbarrow's gonna be here very soon for him. Still about 3 workers ahead, 2 workers ahead. So by the time that finished researching, he's gonna be 1 villager ahead. With Wheelbarrow, so completely caught up to the Viper for that upgrade. But with Heavy Plow and Double Bit Axe. Once again, Heavy Plow is something that the Viper doesn't need, but Double Bit Axe is certainly something that makes a big difference. The Placeman got a bunch of villagers stuck trying to build it. I'm pretty positive he would have been able to send the villagers around. He just needed to clean up the night. He just couldn't build from the same side with all the villagers. It's fine. In the end, he does end up getting the castle left though, but the Viper, he's starting to put a lot of extra pressure. He's got 10 knights already, 2 camels, more knights on the way. Meanwhile, Vivi's making a play for monks. Now, I don't know about you, but for, I would say probably 90+% of the times that I have seen Vivi try to make a play for monks, it usually does not really work out too well. His monk control doesn't seem to be quite on par compared to some of the you know, monk specialists in the game. And especially because the Viper is producing from up to 3 stables, if I'm not mistaken, at once. Yes. Vivi would struggle, actually, with anything less than perfect monk microwave. Monk microwave, sorry. No spear armor as well is pretty precarious for Vivi, as the knights over here will take on the pikemen pretty easily, especially as the Viper's already gone for iron casting. So +2 attack versus no armor pikemen over here at all. Blitching on the way for Vivi. This is just going to be good for his fortifications, DCs, and castles. And the Viper probably doesn't really care about that. These knights, if he can get chain barded armor, we'll already kind of disregard the TCs for sure. And the castles not so much, but there's a lot of economy exposed beyond the range of all the castles from Vivi, so I don't think that's going to be enough for the bull player. Siege push from the Viper as well with the siege workshop on the left hand side. Monastery is going down, no more monks coming out from Vivi. I think that was the only monastery he had. I don't know, he's got this one behind the castle actually. But what to expect over here? What does Vivi need to come back into this game? Well, he's been kind of throwing too many resources already. In the monastery department and the monk control over there department, it was not the best for Vivi, so that's a lot of resources down the drain. Right now, he has lost the gather economy lead, so his economy is not quite as strong. This means that Vivi's only way back, in my opinion, is to get some military units out and try to go for counter raids. It'll be pretty difficult though, because the Viper, with a cheaper stable unit production, should be able to go for camels and defend himself against knights just fine. Ideally, if the one thing that the Viper still kind of, or the one thing that the Vivi actually would still have going in his favor is the lack of defenses for the Viper in terms of fortifications. So if Vivi went for a few knights and then he started going forward and just tried to get the raids going, this is what I like to see from Vivi. The Viper still only has CCs to work with, so the red player definitely the one to still go for the resources. He needs to get enough to get a castle up over here. Ideally, a castle up right next to his DCs on the right hand side as well to defend himself with. And that would, in my opinion, kind of guarantee the game for the Viper, as it would kind of negate the only thing that, in my opinion, Vivi can do to come back into this one. As long as the Viper doesn't have fortifications up, I think Vivi's got a chance of getting some good damage done, but it's just going to be pretty difficult. The Viper's looking so much stronger right now for basically everything. Population, for economy, and for military, just so much higher for the Viper. Production's going to be so much cheaper for him. He's got a stronger economy, and he'll be the first player to go up to the Imperial Age. Defensive castle on the way for Vivi! I mean, I understand it, but he's already been taking damage. Maybe that would have been a better one to go for a castle drop, perhaps. It was always going to be too tough, though, especially as the Viper's already on his way to the Imperial Age. Maybe going for a 4 castle means that he would have a very narrow time window to make anything happen with it, as the Viper, once he gets to the Imperial Age, even without a castle, you can just go for chemistry and bombard cannons. It's gonna start collecting stone though. 11 stone miners, 12 stone miners for the Viper. And remember guys, these are heavyweights over here. These are big names right now. But Viper and Vivi are fighting in the lower bracket. Both these guys got knocked down from the upper bracket into the lower one. There are no extra chances over here. Whoever loses over here gets knocked out of the tournament, goes home. Whoever wins over here gets a spot in the lower bracket semifinals to face whoever loses in the upper bracket semifinals. So we are getting closer and closer to the conclusion of this tournament. Interestingly enough, there aren't really too many series left, but the tournament's going to be done by December 18th, if I remember the schedule correctly. The Viper, we're about 20 seconds away from the Imperial Age. I wonder if it's going to be a strong enough lead for Vivi to just consider calling the GG right there. We'll see. Imperial Age is here for the Viper and Vivi. He's got close to enough resources to click up himself, but he's not done it yet. He's using the market and he's gonna keep on trying, guys. Vivi wants to believe he's going up to the Imperial Age himself. He is. And he's got a dream. He's got the Imperial Age on the way. Some pikemen. Throwing axemen in a dream. Oh, the Viper. Oh, the Viper's just gotten so many resources from the center. I think he ended up cleaning up most of the fish over here, didn't he? Let me take a look. How much do we have left? Yeah, I think Viper ended up cleaning up like the full south half of the center before eventually going back and going for farms. And to see what he does for 20 camel archers. Not too much, but he wants to believe. Unfortunately, Franks are not strongest civilization to go against a camel heavy civilization, especially when you have range units over here quite as strong as the camel archers. Vivi only gets up to Balkan arrow, no bracer with Franks, so even skirmishers will be kind of lackluster. Yeah, I'm not really sure what Vivi's plan is over here. Just keeps on trying, but what are you going to do in late game? Franks versus Berbers. Throw an axeman? Yeah, not really going to do anything against the camel archers. Halberdier, ditto. Just full on stable over here. He's gonna try and make a power play over here. So it's going to be Cavalier. He's got Chain Bar Armor on the way. So it's going to be Cavalier, Plate Bar Armor, and Paladin. Like Cavalry Onager? I wouldn't think so. Camels alone would kill that. And then we also have bar cannons, right? Available for the Viper. Elite camel archers on the way for the red players. Vivi gets to the Imperial Age. He's going for Chivalry. He's going for Cavalier. Very soon, we're gonna see Play Bar the number coming out for him and potentially Paladin. The big issue over here for Vivi is he doesn't have anywhere near enough resources to afford going for full Paladin spam. At the very least, the economy that he's got is secured. Does he though? Maybe with standard working stables, yes. With 40% faster working stables from Chivalry, I don't know if he's gonna be able to get too many units after getting the Paladin upgrade on the way. So he's going for it, and he's got very little in terms of food, in terms of gold. But this is a Hail Mary from Vivi. He's got nothing to lose over here. The game's already lost. So he's just gonna try and go for it. Meanwhile, up in the north, the Viper gets pushed back, so Vivi's able to stabilize. His economy is going to be fine. It's got 145 workers, so it's not bad at all. And the Viper. The Viper's got more camel archers on the way. You know, this could actually... There might be something over here for Vivi. He's got the Cavalier coming out on the Viper. If he's just going to stick to camel archers, he can only produce from 3 castles at a time. He's got a 4th castle coming out, so that's going to increase production by 33%. But Vivi, he should be able to produce from a lot more stables, right? Let me take a look how many he's got. He's got 8 stables. Just needs to stabilize over here. It's gonna bring the Cavalier to push the camel archers back and hopefully get access to the goal once again, so that he's able to actually keep on producing units. Viper having 163 vills kind of helps Vivi. There we go. We have Paladin over here for Vivi. Royal Cavalry. The Franks. And here he comes. Let's take a look to see what's the true power of these Paladins. So one goes down, but he takes down everything else. Everything else. He might not losing 2 Paladin over here, but he's getting so many units. Yeah, there we go. The camel archers shouldn't really survive over here for too long. And the only reason they are getting more than, you know, just 1 or 2 kills over here is because of the choke point. Otherwise, he would have gotten cleaned up. So let's take a look. Where are the rest of the Paladin? We need to see a lot more from Vivi. It's got 24 so far. For the most part, these are going to be just gathering and not going anywhere just yet. And by the looks of it, he's got just production coming up on the left-hand side and nothing up in the north. Yes. So, yeah, some Paladin coming forward as well. This is good for Vivi. He's got the Paladin moving forward now towards the south, and the Viper. The Viper's 200 population as well. He's been going for heavy camels. Got 20% cheaper units in the Imperial Age already, and he's got a few extra camels coming out. So that should help him against the Paladin for sure. But if Vivi is able to get to 200 population with just pure Paladin over here, that should put them in a position to basically barrel through Viper's defenses, right? It's a power play. That's what Vivi's going for. The only way it works is by taking advantage of the population efficiency of these units, and by hopefully staying on a much larger amount of Paladin compared to how many camels the Viper can go for. So we see the raid coming up over here. That cast is coming up. Viper's trying to get the quick walls up over there. Is going to be able to protect the gold miners for the time being, but still a lot of villages are exposed over here, and I'm not really sure if I'm actually liking this for Vivi too much, because even if he is getting villagers down, that actually allows the Viper to keep on going for more units himself. So now military is going to be kind of neck and neck for both these guys, when the Viper's got cheaper counter units against what Vivi's been going for so far. Yeah, the resources for the Viper are looking pretty strong. Pretty darn strong. Is this recorded game or live? This is recorded. These are recorded games. The games took place today earlier at 12 p.m. GMT. It's pretty early. Great player still? Absolutely. And it still just feels so wrong that this is the you know, the lower bracket. See Viper and Vivi going at it. By the way, guys, later today I have a short coming up on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. For those of you who would like to keep up, be sure to follow. And you can find me by just searching for Nova AOE basically everywhere. Just search for Nova AOE, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, of course Twitch, as well as Instagram. You'll find me there. Daily videos on YouTube as well, if you're not subbed up there. What are you doing with your lives? Beautiful, Vivi still. And a great amount of paladins over here, and a good economy still. He's not really managed to barrel through the defenses from the Viper there. I was expecting that to be the case, and now the Viper is able to defend just fine. It's got a lot of camel archers. No LinkedIn? Not yet, but it's coming. Yes. At some point. Are you actually... Is that a legit question though, or are you just messing up with me? Because I know that the platform that I use to manage my socials actually supports LinkedIn, but I didn't know that it was used for that kind of stuff. I thought it was just for jobs, right? I will make a LinkedIn, by the way, soon, but it's going to be so that I can, if things don't pick up with streaming and content creation in general, so the next year I can find a job and move to a different country. It's probably not going to be under the Nova AOE name though. More stables coming out now for the Viper, as if his production was not strong enough. It's got 14 stables. Murder holes! Yes, sir! Well, good luck fighting against that. Up in the north, the castle crumbles. Now from Vivi, the camel archers are coming in. Meanwhile, down the south, Vivi's going against Viper South base over here. They're gonna try and base trades. Or trade bases, rather. They're going to engage into a base trade over here. And it seems to me like the Viper should be in a better spot, right? He's got a trebuchet, so he can take the fortifications down pretty quickly, while Vivi, of course, the Paladins can also take TCs down, can potentially take castles down, but it's not ideal. You want to be raiding with your Paladin actually while you take the fortifications down with trebuchets. Not using your Paladin to fight TCs and castles. While up in the north, Viper's doing a much better job in that regard. It's got two trebuchets over here, taking yet another castle from Vivi as this one crumbles. The red players got still a good amount of camels to raid Vivi's economy with once the fortifications are down. So here comes the Viper, getting an outpost over here, not taking any chances. Microsoft bought LinkedIn, and now it's basically elite version of Facebook. In what sense? Like people just use it for social media? Like VIP, use it for social media? Right hand side? Yes. Good catch. In the end, Vivi doesn't really do much of anything down the south. It's trying to crush the Viper, it's trying to castle rush. The red player doesn't seem like it's going to work out too well though. The Viper's defense are fantastic. Yeah, man, before the third castle comes out, the first two castles from Vivi crumble to the trebuchets, and now this one is going down very soon as well. I appreciate the attempt. Unfortunately, this is not really doing much for Vivi whatsoever, just wasting resources, and he's got enough resources to go for yet another castle, but given Viper's trebuchet count right now, given Viper's fantastic siege plays this game so far, doesn't seem like Vivi will be able to take advantage of going for castles at all. Now the murder holes coming out for Vivi as well. Up in the north, this is what I was talking about. Viper takes fortifications down, and then he pushes. Now, because he took the trebuchets over the right hand side, he's got to pack these up and move these over to the left hand side once again. He's got into 200 population, so cannot really go for too many extra siege weapons anyway. Where are the rest? He's got 5 trebuchets, only 3 on the right hand side, right? Oh no, it was all 5 on the right hand side. Okay, but he's moving over to the left. If he's able to break the defenses from Vivi over here and just take this economy from Vivi, the blue player is kind of done for. After all, the players get 2 bases to play with. This is 1 for Vivi. He's got only 1/3 of his economy over here, but that would still be a huge blow for Vivi, especially losing access to these resources, the golds, the stones. Camel Archer's doing pretty well against the Paladin, and down south, Paladin roaming again from Vivi. So he gets close to 200 population. He's gonna keep on trying to make the pure Paladin play work. But still, with all the fortifications that the Viper's got down the south, it's gonna be fine. On the right hand side, it's gonna be fine. It's got castles. The one castle anyway. No, 2 castles, yes. And completely protected the economy in the corner too. If you take a look at the KD overall, it tells the story of this game quite neatly. Vivi has been on the back foot for the most part, and the Viper's been the one getting the most damage done. Castles drop up in the north. Viper should be able to start raiding once again. People basically made Facebook posts inside LinkedIn. I think it's hilarious, and LinkedIn posts that get into Reddit are from administrative ladder. Yeah, this is the last stand for Vivi over here. This is the last stand for Vivi. We have 37 camel archers completely shredding these paladins. It's not even close. It's not even close. As the trebuchet stay up over here, the Viper keeps on going, taking the defenses down, and very soon Vivi's gonna be out of economy up in the north, and he's got 52 villagers up for taking. It's gonna be 3 corners in favor of the Viper, versus only 1 corner for Vivi. And how do you keep on going like this? It's not only surviving for Vivi that he's gotta worry about over here, but how does he eventually push the Viper out? How does he suppress the red player? He can't. Franks can counter 45 elite camel archers can. They can't. They can. Not like this. Not like this, and like we have mentioned in the past a few times, camel archers, I would say, as a little bit of a stronger unit compared to standard cavalry archers, or even fully upgraded heavy cavalry archers, of course, are a fantastic unit, not only against CA, but also against anything. They're like really, really good. So if you get to these numbers, that's even better than having like 44 heavy cavalry archers. Unless you're talking about Magyar CA or maybe Tatars perhaps, but even still. I'm not convinced the difference would be too much, and I think might actually still favor the camel archers. Not against each other, of course, but against other types of units like cavalry. Anyway, this should, well, in my opinion, this should be pretty much over, right? What does Vivi do after losing all his villagers over here? He's gonna have only the left-hand side corner. That's about it. Man, he's come for a lot of castles though. That will prevent the Viper from taking the left-hand side corner too quickly, but it shouldn't prevent the Viper from taking it in the end. Just going to be a little bit slower. Viper floats millions of resources and still struggle to keep trying the population. GL guys have this lately. Tato and Warlords have the same problem. Yeah, but I think that's probably because of the production potential right now. The infrastructure he's got to get units out is not really allowing him to get too many units out, right? So if he loses too many units at a time, he can't really replenish them fast enough. But to be fair, he is not really queuing the units up though. So you're definitely onto something. A little bit of both. How many castles do we have for the Viper's got? 8 castles. Should be able to produce more. Yeah, there we go. He's queuing now. And Vivi calls the GG. So Viper up 2-0 against the Chinese player over here. Still boggles my mind that we are in the lower bracket with both these legends, but it is what it is. Before we jump into game number 3, let's take a look at the achievements. Starting with military, we'll see a stronger KD for the Viper, getting about 3-to-2 KD ratio. Not quite as high, but very close to it. For economy, we're gonna get stronger economy for Vivi in the end. He ended up collecting about 1,200 resources. Extra resources compared to the Viper, but that's about it. It's not a huge lead, right? And the KD was just so bad for him. Yes. So it's not a strong enough lead to compensate for the KD. That's how the Vipers managed to get so far ahead. In economy towards the end, not in total resource collected, but in total resources banked up, right? Maybe never managed to get anywhere near as many resources as a Viper. Regardless though, that's gonna be about it, sorry, for game number 2. Let's go back, and game number 3 is coming up in a moment. And welcome everyone to game number 3. What do we get? We're gonna have Vivi and the Viper both playing with Hindustanis. This is 4 quarters, one of my favorite maps from the tournament as well. And there's such a huge variety of maps for this one. If yeah, we take a look at the civilization. Both these guys will get 10, 15, 20, and 25% cheaper villagers. We'll see in addition to that, +1/+1 pierce, +1/+1 armor, sorry, and gunpowder units, and 25% faster attacking camels. As well as for the team bonus, 2 bonus damage from camel, light cavalry, and hussar units against buildings. And that's going to be about it. For anybody who might not be familiar with this map, 4 quarters is gonna have 4 TCs for each player. They are going to begin with 4 TCs each. The layout these TCs spawn, in is not consistent. So sometimes you're going to see this kind of layout. Sometimes you're going to see players with all 4 TCs kind of, you know, close together. Sometimes you're going to see different layouts compared to this one and the one that I just mentioned, but it's still going to be the same. Basically, each player is going to have access to different resources in each quarter. On the left hand side, we're gonna have for the west quadrant just stone. We have starting gold, but then beyond the starting gold we are going to have just stone on the left hand side. On the right hand side it's going to be just gold. No starting stone, just gold. Up in the north we do have starting gold, as well as down the south. And then up in the north and down the south we're gonna get access to food. Up in the north, land food with hunting, as well as berries and herdables. While down south we are going to have water economy, right? So just fish. Towards the south is going to be deep fish as well, which is great. And that's going to be about it. Usually the way this game goes, or usually the way the games go on this map, is the players go up to the fuel age pretty quickly, and then they start going for some navy units to try and put pressure down south, because it's going to be a little bit harder to defend. It's pretty open, and if you go for, let's say, a demolition raft, you could potentially find some good villager picks over here for very cheap overall. Meanwhile, the rest of the quadrants are going to be pretty safe until we get to the castle age at the very least. After which the players will start collecting stone, or will be collecting stone from earlier, to try and get castle drops going and try to secure the quarters. Because if you get, let's say, and welcome to everyone, by the way, who's watching this for the first time, this channel for the first time. I hope you're enjoying. But yeah, let's take a look at the left hand side, for instance. Let's say the Vivi manages to collect a lot of stone over here, right? And then he gets to the castle age significantly earlier. He can potentially go for a castle drop over here. If he takes on the Vipers TC and the villagers, that's going to be one full quadrant that the Viper's not going to have access to anymore. And because of the way that the resources are distributed, then the Viper wouldn't be getting access to stone anymore, which would be really bad because he wouldn't be able to go for extra fortifications anywhere else, right? So we could see the same thing happening in the right hand side. Let's say the Viper is the one to come forward over here, right? He could very well end up going for a castle around here, for instance, and kind of denying gold for Vivi. But this wouldn't be anywhere near as impactful, as we already pointed out. Players do have starting golds in all quadrants. So the left hand side seems to be the most impactful because of the stone. And then followed by the right hand side, because after you run out of your starting golds in each quadrant, you're going to only have extra gold over here. And then up in the north and down the south, these are not quite as important quadrants, because you can always get food from farms, Or if you get pushed away from the north, you're going to have plenty of deep fish to collect from the south. If you get pushed from the south, you're going to have plenty of resources up in the north, right? So each quadrant over here is going to have a different, what would you call it, value for players. And village is coming up for both guys. The Viper's going up a little bit earlier, though. Is he going to get a dock up whatsoever? Doesn't seem to be the... Oh, yeah, he does. What am I talking? I'm completely blind, sorry. He does have the dock up here. What is this 40C start? Crazy map? Yes! Yes, this map is quite something. So there we go! Viper's going for the demolition wrap though! Are we gonna see the big bangs here or not? The big bada booms, as man would say. Guess we're going to find out. Let's check. Do we have any exposed economy for Vivi? The Viper comes over here. Yeah, you know, might be able to find probably these villagers. Let's see. Let's bring this in. What does he know? He doesn't really know much about Vivi's base, so just gonna be fishing for it. Meanwhile, Vivi's gonna be the first player to get to the castle age though, but he doesn't seem to be realizing about just a huge potential for demos though. Guys! Guys! Is this a huge shot or what? Oh! A bunch of villagers going down. That could have been worse had Vivi not been paying attention, but there is another demo raft coming up over here. Vivi does realize about this in time, and the Viper is just gonna keep on roaming around. He doesn't need to target individual villagers. That'd be kind of wasteful. He just needs to keep on roaming around, and that's gonna be enough to keep Vivi's economy down the south extremely inefficient, right? All Vivi will be able to do is just go for farms over here, because everywhere else he goes, the villages are going to clump together. Yeah, at the very least until he gets some walls up, so he's getting the walls over here. This is very unfortunate for V, because now he's kind of limiting himself and won't be able to really take advantage of all the extra resources available around the south. Plus, there's the fact that he's using a lot of villagers to get the walls up over here, so it's not the most efficient economy for Vivi down the south. And the Viper's going after the castle H2. He's behind by about 24 seconds or so. And Vivi's not really been collecting too much stone while the Viper has. So this could be really bad. The Viper is the one to start going for castle drops, and take a look at that economy. He's got enough for 2 castles already. He can go for 1 forward over here, and then he can go for 1 forward either on the right hand side or up in the north, or potentially down the south. Down the south, I think it would be the easiest. If we saw the Viper go for a castle over here, for instance, actually not there, a better location will be over here so he can push the gold away, right? He'll be able to take the TC down, destroy the palaces, of course, and then he'll be able to bring the demolition rafts once again and potentially take on the rest of the villagers. I said this map 3 times and focus were on stone and water plays mostly. Yes, it's gotta be it. I'll wait for something to happen down the south. Let's take a look up in the north, as Vivi's gonna be the first one to put pressure. Shouldn't be too bad over here. The Viper, yeah, garrisons. He gets another TCF, so he's gonna be able to garrison this as well. And then on the left hand side, the Viper's going for a castle in the middle of nowhere. I wonder why. I guess he was probably anticipating the Vivi, sorry, to be collecting quite a lot of stone himself and to be able to get some counter castle up. But in the end, we know that's not going to be the case, and the Viper kind of dropped the ball a little bit on the left-hand side. This is pro casting. I like the graphic. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Beautiful raids up in the north, though. Beautiful raids up in the north. That's a lot of units going down for the Viper. It's going to get caught up after having taken the demo shot earlier. After having landed the demo shot earlier. Yeah, but with 2 TCs over here, it's gonna be fine. Then on the right hand side, the Viper once again goes for a castle in the middle of nowhere. I'm not the biggest fan of this, but this one on the left hand side, now this is a lot better. Not ideal, as he won't be able to range the TC still. But if he can just breach through, then he can potentially go for yet another castle inside the walls. Or, alternatively, he can just try to raid, right? He's playing Hindustanis, he can go for Gulam, after all. And because he's got 2 castles on the left hand side, it shouldn't take too long to get a good amount of units out. And Vivi, without any fortifications over here beyond just DCs, won't really be able to do anything against Gulen. Good reaction for Vivi, quite swift. Doesn't seem like he'll be able to do too much though. Yeah, the castle's coming out for sure. The Gulen are just so strong. They are just looking so good. We have enough to go for another castle. This time around it's going to be on the right-hand side for the Viper. Once again, though, I'm really curious why not try to go for a little bit of, you know, of a further forward castle over here, just so that he can range the TC. Can he actually range it? He can't. If he gets blocking arrow, I think he might actually be able to range the TC, but I think it's just probably just, no. If he was trying to stay beyond the line of sight, that wouldn't have worked either, so I'm not really sure, but the Viper seems to be doing a really good job anyway. With the Gulen coming up on the right-hand side and the Gulen coming up on the left-hand side, he's got the raids going already, and this is so good. This is so good for the Viper. Just join, was this a 4 TC start? Yes, sir. 4 quarters, quadruple TC start. And I would very much recommend you go back and watch it from the very beginning. And we actually have seen so many good games on this map already. It's amazing. This is one of the submissions for the. This was one of the submissions for the RMS Cup 2 for anybody who might remember from earlier in the year. And in the end, we decided against it. But I'm so happy that people are still getting many of the submissions into official tournaments, right? So we saw this, we saw Jungle Rumble for Valhalla as well. Many of the submissions have already outlived the tournaments so far. And it's been great. When is the RMS Cup 3? Well, there's nothing confirmed, man, but I would imagine if anything was to happen, it was most likely not going to take place next year. Don't worry about Argentina. Bad start is a good finish. Thank you, Rosa. He's Iron Chef. Hi. Beautiful castle coming up over here. Nice reaction from Vivi, but the camels are not enough. And the Viper gets the castle up over here. He's the first player to get to the Imperial H2. He's got the treasure coming up on the left-hand side. And guys, it's gonna be a clean sweep in the end, as the Viper ends up forcing the GG out of Vivi. The blue player taps out, and once again, amazing to see that this was the lower bracket with these amazing players over here. But Vivi's gonna end up getting knocked out of the tournament while the Viper gets a clean sweep, and will thus move on to the lower bracket semifinals, where he'll be facing one of the losers from the top bracket semifinals as well. Those games are not scheduled yet. As a matter of fact, let me just take a look at that to make sure that is actually the case. Let me see. Actually, there is one of the one extra game scheduled, but it's going to be for the second round, the lower bracket. And the next game that's scheduled is Brew versus Dragonstar, which will take place on the 26th at 16 GMT. Now, we are probably not going to be casting this one live because of Warlords. I'm going to be providing coverage for Warlords tomorrow through Sunday, start at 16 GMT. But after we are done on Saturday with both sets, both semifinals, if there is enough time, we're gonna do the series from Double Cup 3, alright? And we're gonna try to do the same for Thursday and Friday as well. So let's take a look at the achievements before going back. Military, better for the Viper, better KD overall. For economy, a stronger economy for the Viper by quite a lot. And then for society, a higher worker count for the Viper towards the end of the game, and a higher villager max count as well, which is just remarkable, especially when going up to the Imperial Age earlier. And just with the same civilization, this is nothing but superior gameplay. He's just executed on the Hindustan so much better. Amazing. I think we might not have been too prepared for this, but anyway, let's go back.